Hey, y'all. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy Valentine's week. And if you're watching tonight and you don't have a Valentine, you didn't have one this week, it's all good in the hood. That's why we're here to help you. My name is Elisa Perifico. I am the editor-in-chief of matchmakerreview.com, and this is Matchmaker Live, a really fun show that we do live weekly, asking you guys questions, you asking us questions, us answering those questions, us talking to guests, connecting singles, pretty much anything you can think about if you're single that you'd want to do. So tonight, our specially loved theme week, I'm a little biased because it is my anniversary today, and I wanted to take a moment to just show how wonderful my husband is. He leaves me these little notes. Look at that. Anyway. Okay. All right. That was really for me and him. Sorry. Okay. So moving on. But if you're here tonight, this show's really for the fellas. Last week it was for the ladies. This week it's for the fellas. But if you're a lady and you're interested in being courted by a fella, this is for you too. So let's bring up that benefits card, shall we? Wondering if you're in the right place tonight. You are if you're a guy and you're dating online, or you're dating organically in general, or an app, or just in general. B, if you're interested in being courted by a fellow, like I just mentioned. If that's of interest to you and you're waiting to be courted by a guy on an app or a site, it's good that you're watching this. Or C, you want to know what it is that you're doing that is seemingly scaring everyone else away, right? Maybe you've been online. Maybe you're doing the work. Maybe you're meeting people organically. Maybe you think you are, but it's not working. Nothing's happening. You're just getting grumpier. You're in the right place for that. And tonight, a fun comic that we're featuring tonight, Casey James, really funny guy. I just discovered him myself, but really paints a really funny picture about what it's like for guys out there. And I'm a really big advocate for making sure the fellas feel heard, because they don't get asked enough. So that being said, before we jump into the chatty chats and the fun stuff for you guys, I have a little bit of a poll for you, a polling question, because I like for you guys to give us the details. So question, if you have been dating, whether again, online, organically, or an app, how long? What's the skinny? Has it been a year? Have you been online less than a year? Has it been between 1 and 5 years, or has it been over 5 years? And a lot of that is we really just want to understand what is the basics of the apps you're using, the technology, how have they migrated and changed? Have you even noticed? So this information is really helpful for us. So go ahead and comment below which letter, which one you are. Really, really curious where you guys are at and your familiarity with the technology. All right, so why we're here tonight. I know why I'm here, but why are you here? That's the next question I have for you, essentially. Because tonight what we're going to do is we're going to dig a little bit. After we dig, we are going to explain and feature some of these comics and show you some of our members who are talking about some similar things that they're struggling online. And after that, we're going to give you some do's and don'ts about, guys, what you're going to put on your profile, what you're not going to put on your profile, and what your next steps are. If you're still single and you're still frustrated, at the end of the show tonight, you're going to have next steps, and you're welcome. Okay. I already hit the mic. See? Gosh, I'm going to get better at it. All right. So let's get rid of that card for me, my love. And then my next question I have for everybody, which is the why are you here? Huh? Uh-oh. Okay. No worries. We're locked. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see. Well, technical difficulty. No worries. I'll take over. All right. So essentially, when we're talking about a dating app, when you think about here we go. Back out. We're thinking about a dating app. We're really talking about the kind of tools that you're using. So why are you here, right? You're single. You're bummed. Don't know where else to go. Tell me about you. Tell me about your... There we go. He's going to bring up in a second. But my main question for you is, why are you here, right? Let's think about why you're frustrated, why you're stopped. That's the biggest question, right? Why are you stopped? Because if it's not you stopping, then you got to be proactively doing something, right? So always think about, why are you here? Why are you single? Why has it been this long? Especially if you've been successful in all these other parts of your life, right? I talk to you guys all day long. I love it. I love talking to you guys. So much fun. But even today, I talked to like 3 different dudes who gave me all the same reasons that they were single. And it was the same reason in all these different scenarios. And that was that they were doing all the wrong things online. And you're going to see what these things are shortly. But my next question for you is, if you are dating online, what has your experience been like dating online right now? Like, what is it? Especially like we're in a pandemic, it's difficult to even navigate these things. So what has your experience been like dating online right now? Has it significantly changed since prior pandemic? Do you feel odd asking these certain questions? Do you have different things, or do you like it better? Is it actually sort of cool to have like a shield, knowing that you're like, all right, I got to connect with somebody first. I'm going to vet this out. I'm going to really make sure this is worth my time before we, connect and do a date. So let us know. I really want to know whether it's good or bad or lukewarm, or you haven't thought about it. What is your experience right now, dating online? Go ahead and comment. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. And if you're not dating online, would love to know what your experience is meeting new people right now. Really interested in that. Obviously, dating online is a place to start. It's a lobby. It's a first round. It's a place to do some screening. So if you are meeting people in person, what has your experience been like? Is it better, worse? What are your struggles? And would really like to hear those things too, because if you've learned something that's helpful, we love to share those with other people. But in reality, again, and I like to say this routinely, is nobody has mastered falling in love in a pandemic. Nobody has mastered falling in love over the internet or digital space. So don't be ashamed, and don't be even remotely embarrassed, or even, I don't even know what the other word is, but don't be any of those things if you're single and you don't know why you're single and you're not mastering dating at tech. Like, this is ridiculous. Technology is evolving faster than we are currently. So it's natural for you to not have any idea how to date on the internet. So the next best thing you can do is go, you know what? Fine. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to lean into a community or person or people that are going to help me figure out how to meet other people. So that is what we do right now. So please, your experience, please write below. We would love to know. My next question for you all in my Valentine's Day outfit. And by the way, my stepsons earlier to me told me I looked like one of the captains from Star Wars, like I was going to one of the fancy parties. So yeah, that's how cool I am tonight. All right, cool. Mind shift. This is what I want you guys to think about when you're shifting your mind. We had Dr. Christy, one of my good old friends, back on the show a couple months ago. My good friend, Dr. Christy K, she's the our marriage, family, wonderful matchmaker, confidant. She was on the show, and she was explaining to us that dating, the bummer about dating is that it's really a pass or fail system. We think of it that way subconsciously when we shouldn't. That's sort of the fault. And if we experience it with anything else, like, again, weight loss or money, these things, you accept that you're going to succeed in stages, right? So if you're losing some weight, you celebrate 5 pounds lost, 10 pounds lost, 20 pounds lost. If you've hit these milestones, this is exciting. Every time you hit these milestones, right? You don't just like lose some weight and then get on the scale and then be totally upset you haven't lost 100 pounds. It takes time. Every little milestone should be celebrated. And the goal is not to get to the 100-pound weight loss on the next night. The goal is to get to, the next couple pounds or whatever the case is. So unfortunately, though, dating doesn't feel that way. Dating feels like if we go on a date and it's not the perfect match, it feels like a loss. You feel like you want to give up. You feel like it's not worth it or it's not right. And so that slight little connection, that slight little mindset about treating these dates like you do losing a couple pounds on your way to losing all of the pounds, these little dates as little micro wins, will actually get you that same result, because it's those micro wins, those little losing the 5 pounds, losing the 10 pounds, that'll get you to the 100 pounds, that keeps you motivated, that gets you the insight, that helps you problem solve and twist and turns. So with dating, if you can think of it that way, really every little date you learn a little bit more, and you're not supposed to know. It's not supposed to be all or nothing. Remember, every movie you have seen is just a movie. It's written that way to entice you into a different world. But in reality, real relationships, real, beautiful, messy, unpredictable relationships are tough, and they're not dreamy. And a lot of the times they're dreamy because they're beautiful and they're real. So we don't see that a lot, though. Well, we're seeing it more now in modern movies, which I love. But up in the way we grew up, not so much. So it's up to you to say, hey, if I want real results, like I really need to lose weight or I really need to get into shape, I'm really going to stick to it. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to plan right. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do all the things, and I'm going to do it. So your dating life has to be the same. You can't just repeat the same patterns, right? We need to take dating in stride. You need to do your activities in stride and map it out a little bit. And even if you feel dorky about it, you want to be successful at it. It's not something that's going to come and hit you out of the park. And if you are that person that is waiting for that to happen, then good luck. Godspeed. Okay. I'm stepping off my soapbox for that. My main question, though, or my next question, I should say, not my main one, is how do you imagine you would be meeting the one right now? And, I don't talk to a lot of guys who do a lot of visualization work, and that's normal because I don't think anybody's, again, they don't get asked a lot. So essentially my main question, if you're thinking about falling in love, next steps, dating, guys are really kind of like, okay, I go here and then I go here, then I go here. But if you are someone that's thought about your future relationship, getting married, being with somebody, I mean, you dream, you have a thought, you have a subconscious, you're introspective, you have wants and needs. So if you're a fella, how do you imagine you would be meeting the one right now if you could? And have you even thought about it? Has it crossed your mind? Has it crossed your mind? I mean, and a lot of it, if it hasn't, take this as an opportunity to let it cross your mind, because it's a powerful tool. A lot of the times I talk with guys and they sort of brush it off like, I'm open and I know what I like when I see it. And while that's all well and good when you're younger, and when you're a little bit older, though, and you're looking for something very specific, not only is it helpful to be intentional about what you seek, but it's also attractive to who you are attracting. When you are sincere and clear and intentional about what you want and what you're seeking, that not only serves you, but it literally radiates to the people you are attracting. So by you doing some homework, by taking some initiative and actually thinking through what you want and being confident in those things, you're actually doing the work instead of just sort of dating by accident or by the time that you have. So it's just something to think about. If you haven't thought about how you're going to meet somebody, what that might be like, start now, write it down, say it out loud, as fantastical, as realistic as you might think or sound, but that kind of thing needs to start rolling, or else if you can't think it, if you can't think it, it won't be, which is true. All right, on to the next question, which is just a little bit more of a version of that. And then we're going to break down more profile-y stuff, which is fun. And then we'll go into some of our member stories and matchmakers and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So if you don't know what it's like to meet the one, okay, forget that for a second, because I understand scenarios are scenarios. What about your relationship? You have things that you like to do, right? On a day-to-day basis. You have things that bring you happiness and relief and at least a little bit of comfort. And if you can't name those things, that should be an indicator that you are not ready for a relationship. Even if you feel like you might want one to make you feel better. The reality is relationships, yes, they're highs and lows, but the highs or the happiness is what keeps those things fueled. So if you can't share that happiness with someone, if you don't know what it is that makes you happy, then you can't offer that to someone else. So it really is a good little formula for you to figure out, am I ready for a relationship? So I guess that is a question. Like, what is that formula? Am I ready for a relationship? Well, if you can't write down 5 things that make you happy, truly happy, or calm, or comforted, or excited, then if you can't think about those 5 things that you'd want to share with someone else, then it's time to stay and do some introspective work on yourself before we give it to someone else. But if you can name those 5 things, you're like, all right, I want to travel. I want to I want to tell weird stories. I want to try new foods. I want to meet new people, all these things, right? If you can name those things that make you happy and you want to do this with other people specifically, start again, write it down. What are you guys doing? Where are you going? Are you seeing shows? What kinds of shows? Is it music shows? Is it theater shows? Is it the ballet? Is it the symphony? Or are you sports people? Are you going to games? What kind of games? Football games? Hockey games? Baseball games? Both? Where? What city? Are we New Yorkers? You better be. I'm just kidding. Are you New Yorkers? Are you Chicago? Are you LA? Where are you? So it comes down, and again, I know it might feel silly, but if you have done anything else in your life, you worked hard for a promotion or a place on a team or whatever it is, you guys worked, like you practiced, you focused, you disciplined, and you got yourself forward. And this is the same, and you visualized that, right? You were practicing, you got yourself the position. You were working hard at work, you got yourself the promotion, you got yourself the position, you were focusing on it, you had your brain on it. So if you're doing that here, the same sort of notions will happen, but you do have to think about what your life might be like, just like you thought about what your life might be like when you got that promotion, just like you thought about what your life might be like when you lost the weight. Now you have to think about what your life is going to be like with somebody wonderful. If you don't even think about it or try to imagine it, it's not going to happen, guys. That is the theme of the night. So, but this is a good thing. It's a good theme because this is where we make it happen. We make it happen. Here and make it happen. Okay. All right, moving on. So let's move on to the nitty gritty because I know we don't need to talk about my foo-foo stuff for too long. Okay. Next question. Here's more solutions and the weekly lesson, and then we'll go into some of the fun stuff with the matchmakers and our members. But mainly, what the main question I think everybody has on their profile, when you have a profile and you're online, whether it's a dating site or an app, I think the burning question is not only photos, because everybody's obsessed about photos, but it's like, what info do you actually need to put on your dating site or your profile? What is the essential info that you need to put on there? It's important, right? Because everybody thinks they know, but they don't. And so we'll go over that. Okay, so basically essential info is really things that are inviting to someone that make you you. It does not have to be anything extremely rigid or basic in the sense that it's conditional to date you. So for example, we want to think of inviting things that would invite somebody from a foundational sense, meaning if you are somebody that enjoys activities, right? We want to be activity based, help somebody think of the kind of life they're going to have with you. You want to paint them a picture, right? So what kind of info? What kind of activities is a must, right? So what you're doing on any given weekend, and be honest about it, because if you're going to paint a picture of things that you don't really do, then that's going to be a disappointing reality for that person. Another thing is to leave room in the profile, in the info, to invite someone else into it. Nobody likes a soapbox person that goes up there and goes, I only like people this tall, and I only like going golf on the weekends. Oh, that just stinks. Like already, I don't even like to hear this person talk anymore. That's not even a real person. So think about who you are when you're looking at a dater. What do you want to see, right? What do you not want to see? It's really that simple, but it's just hard for us to flip the script a little bit. So when you're looking at another person's profile, what do you want to see? You want to see it streamlined, you want to see it fresh, you want to see it diversified, but not too long, right? Because you're busy. So don't be a book back, right? Don't write a whole bunch of stuff. Don't be, because that's just feels dramatic naturally. And just be patient. There's nothing you can do past that, right? Right now we're talking about what info to put on there, what info not to put on there, and how to put your photos. But other than that, if there's not any there's not much action behind it after you do that, it's because you're not doing the work. So before we get there, this is assuming you're doing the work, you're putting yourself out there. This is the logistics. So in terms of essential info, where you are, if location is important, a general sense of where you are, so that way you can actually connect with somebody locally. Fun ways to do that are to say, again, fan of the local team, or the local arts district, that kind of thing. Also to put it's okay to put what you're seeking, honestly, like looking for a wonderful lady to spend time with the rest of my life with, looking for an awesome fella who's ready for his lady, it, I say this because I hear you guys talk to me all day and you're all looking for each other, but yet everybody's like afraid to say they're looking for a relationship. It's so bizarre. It is the most biological thing we are designed to do, is to find companions and be with them. Like, there's a reason that not just humans, but species mate like they do, like they in pairs, like it literally in pairs. So it's the most biological, primal thing in your body that's literally saying you should be with another human, and the two of you together have such comfort and wealth and will thrive as a unit. So that is in your DNA, that's happening. So you don't have to suppress it. There doesn't have to be this like, I'm looking for something casual. Like, everybody on the planet is looking for their opposite mate. Like, that actually is a thing, whether or not you say it or not. So understanding that, leaning forward and being relaxed, but being confident with what you're actually looking for and what you're excited about, that will do most of the work. So again, quick, to the point, what makes you happy, paint pictures of activities you guys can do. And we'll go actually into a clip in a little bit about the do's and don'ts from our other matchmakers. But I'll do some quick what not to do on your profile, which is what I think is probably a stronger tip from me tonight. But what not to do, and again, I'll lead with do not write a book, right? Even if you're a beautiful writer, even if you really have a lot to say, please don't. They don't care, we don't care, and you actually don't care. At the end of the day, short, to the point, the idea is just to create connections. This is a digital handshake. This is not a digital handshake and let me tell you my life story. Imagine if that actually happened in person. Imagine if you were grabbing that person's hand and along with that handshake came everything on your profile. Whoa, would you want to be saying all those things? Like, would you grab someone's hand and say all of those things to them that are written on your profile, meeting them the very first time? No, you'd be an insane person. I'd be like, hello, I'm Carol, and I got divorced 4 years ago, and I really love puppies, and you really better love to go skiing because I love skiing too. That's actually literally insane. You say, no, I'm Carol. Hi, nice to meet you. Do you live around here? Like, keeping these things back and forth. So with your profile, keep it light, keep it fluffy, be inviting, and be short and sweet, and that'll be the thing that moves. The things you do not want to do: negativity. Forget it. Forget being negative. We don't want to know what you don't want. That's ridiculous. I don't care. They don't care. He doesn't care. She doesn't care. Nobody cares. You don't have to be overly positive, Polly, but do not bring out negative Nancy. No one likes her, right? So we don't need to know what you don't want. And we don't need to know anything that's super conditional, in the sense, if it's something really negative about the way somebody doesn't need to look, or anything that is super pointed at their belief system. Again, we don't need to know what you don't want. We only need to know what you want to attract. So again, short and sweet, and you don't need to give your life story anything too personal that you wouldn't already delve on a first date, or again, you wouldn't delve off meeting somebody on the first encounter. Should not be on your initial profile. And the last question before we start talking to some of our members, and before I show you guys some of our other love pros and some tips that they have to give you guys on dating. The last question I have for you at this moment is, a lot of you were asking me, what are any other dating options other than dating online and by chance, right? Like, a lot of you are frustrated, and as you should be, and it's sort of a weird thing, right? Like, your only options to date is to go on a free dating app that is promising you to be the next great app, right? Or to get set up by a friend, or to go through a dating service, Right, but there's nothing in between. These are all very severe options. Like, these are all very intense options, and they're intense experiences, right? You're dating online, you don't know what you're doing. It's exhausting. There's a lot in volume. There's a lot of new things that you're not familiar with, different apps, different platforms. Then there's getting set up by your friends, which is always a gamble, and it most of the time sucks, right? Best of intentions, but it's just not. It's just not what you thought. And then there's always meeting somebody on your own, and that's hard, right? It gets harder the more technology advances, and there's been a pandemic for a while, so it's even harder. So how do we find the least embarrassing option, but yet the most effective option, right? We do that. So really what we're going to do, and I'll bring this up before we end the show tonight, but you join a community like ours, and if you don't know, we've got a really awesome community here. It's called the Honest Date Bar. You can join our singles community by heading to meetamatchmaker.com. But what's really, really great about this community is it's that step up from the free website, but it's a little bit more attention, right? You're looking for vetted people. You're looking for just something, a step up of what you've had. But before you do that, you got to set your own expectations. You know, you do walk around with pretty unrealistic expectations, whether you realize it or not, right? This idea that you should be meeting somebody of quality and that they must make a certain amount of money and be a certain height and live a certain place and look a certain way. I mean, I don't know who dubbed us all kings and queens to assume that we deserve certain things, but let me tell you something. You are no queen or king of the castle, and I know you say that out loud, but really you should start expecting that yourself. But really start embracing people for who they are, loving them from who they are, being thoughtful about those things, and really thinking ahead for them. You know, the most beautiful and loving thing you can do for another human is think about them the way they think about themselves and kind of forward think for them. You know, really putting yourself in their shoes, being empathetic, being thoughtful of them is the most beautiful, loving thing you can do. So when you're thinking about communities and places that you can be, coming to meetamatchmaker.com, joining our Honest Date Bar, you'll get to meet other vetted singles. You'll meet these love pros that we're about to introduce you to in a minute. But really, you get to check out your dates. You get to use, if you're on Tinder, you're on Bumble, you're on Match.com, great. We love it. Bring that in here, and we will help you utilize those platforms better. So you're not wasting your time. You're not exhausted, because here's the secret. They're all the same. We're all the same. We're just communities and people gathering together. So if we can curate all that you've done, bring all of the dating sites, bring your friends, bring your all the things, we're going to help you streamline that so you can have the best and exciting and enriching dating experience, as opposed to a overwhelming, embarrassing hush one, which sucks. So anyway, yes, there are other dating options. It's going to meetamatchmaker.com and joining our fun, loving community at the Honest Date Bar. You'll meet other dated members. And before you get into the community, you've got to go through one of our virtual bouncers who will check your ID at the door, just like a real bar. So that way you have a more curated, members only experience, and not the free for all on a dating app, and not the scary unknown of a speed dating or matchmaking event. Anyway, so come hang out with us. We're having a lot of fun in there. And with that being said, I'll let our matchmaker speak and take a look from some of our members and our comic for tonight, who's going to go into some of the do's and don'ts and the crazies of online dating. So let's check this out. Tell me about you. Tell me about your dating life, pandemic. Where are you? All the things.
You know, I've never been good at dating.
Nobody is. Don't feel bad. Nobody is.
Well, you know, when I was in my 20s, I got to tell you, I didn't do anything. I didn't know anything. But, man, whatever I was doing then was really good. Maybe it's because I was 20-something. But
I guess we'll go to what my life was like pre-pandemic.
Right.
Out of the blue, I was seeing all these random emails in my inbox. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then I found your YouTube channel. And I'm like, whoa.
I'm on every dating site. And I have zero game and zero luck. I try. I mean, and I'm getting so tired because I sit there. I'm the guy that's trying to relate in the message that I sent. It's very time consuming, and I never get them to respond back.
Yep.
Never.
You don't know Bumble is the app where the girls talk to you first, allegedly. I never unlocked this feature. I got to upgrade my phone or something. I don't know. I was at the Apple Store like, the girls aren't talking. What's going on? I paid my bill. It's funny when you get on these apps, you can tell how long a lot of girls have been on these apps, but just how mean and specific their bios get. You know what I'm talking about? Because they have like every asshole in New York City. Like a girl who's on their news, like, I'm from California. I like horses. A girl who's been there a while is like, no creeps, no weirdos, no mama's boys. No Libras, no Kevins. No zookeepers, no Mennonites. We go for one drink, you don't look at me, my friend Cheryl's coming. All right. Sounds too good to be true, ma'am. Can't believe you're still alone.
The biggest things I see for men and women, you need a good photo. You don't need many, but good photos.
Do you have a tip on how they can quality check their own photo?
You can ask a few friends what they think. You know, some people that will give you honest feedback. Take a screenshot and show them your profile and say, what do you think of this? And honest, you know, people are giving them honest feedback.
Well, that's the idea, because, you know, helping people understand when they do or don't need help, right? So like the idea where it's like, you know, how can I quality check my photos? Okay, go ask 5 people that you're mirrors that will give you good feedback. And if you're like, that sounds like a crazy amount of work, I'd rather hire someone, well, perfect, we can help you with that too.
It depends on if you're talking about the profile itself or how they're responding.
Both. Love to hear both.
Well, a couple things on profile. One, it's too generic. Like, you could take anybody's picture and put it on yours. There's nothing that makes you stand out. Where somebody would say, wow, that's somebody I want to meet, or I don't want to meet, which is equally as important. 2, be negative. You know, going through like what you don't want. Don't even bother contacting me. Like, when they make a connection, giving people another chance. People get offended. They have these rules. Oh, I reached out and they didn't reach out in enough time, so I'm just not gonna bother. Well, what if something happened to that person? Give them the benefit of the doubt. If there was a connection made, reach out again. Don't let your ego get in the way.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Like, give somebody, hey, are you okay? I was excited to talk to you. It didn't happen. Are you okay? I'd love to reconnect. And that person might just come back and say, thank you. I was embarrassed. I said I would, and it's a week later, and I didn't want you to be angry at me, you know, but hey, thank you. That's a big one.
Giving perspective is so important, because we assume it's like so easy, but keeping up with new people you don't know is a lot of work. It's a lot to manage information and time, and most humans are not naturally organized, so it would be that we wouldn't be so erratic with like very in tune with answering people. So it's good that you give them that dose of perspective, because without it they feel rejected. Everybody feels rejected, right?
On the other hand, don't over connect, because sometimes it's like, oh my God, stop.
Give an example of that, like example of what not to say to overconnect.
Well, when you make the connection, and they say, yeah, here's my number, call me or text me, don't text 10 times a day.
Okay.
Do it within reason. Ask somebody, what is too much for you? I'd love to connect with you. Do you enjoy a check-in every day? Do you like 3 times a day? What's too much? What's too little? Ask the questions.
I think it's a misconception for men. They don't understand that, like, it's not a weakness if you ask women these questions. They actually find it like it's initiative, right? They want to, you know, now know which questions to ask, right? But still, that's a good way to take temperatures instead of guessing. So
yeah, I guess that would be it. If you make a connection, don't be afraid to ask what is too much and what's too little. Get the expectations set so that nobody's getting hurt or upset or rejected.
I love the tip on don't tell us what you don't want. Ew, no thanks. I don't need to know what you don't want.
Yeah.
Like,
that's already a turn off. Like,
it is, right? Like, ew, like already, like, great. This person, anyway, that's a great tip, great tip.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll add, read their profile and pick out something that shows you read it. Don't just say, hey, baby.
Hey there works better than hi.
Love it. I love it.
Yes, hey there definitely works better than hi, but I will say even that's rolling out too. You know, I think the theme here is too, and I love those ladies, you know, the theme and the lessons we really want to take from these things are a couple things. Be sincere, try your best to be the real version of you, not the PR version of you. And I know that sounds a little, I don't know, like that sounds great, but how do I do that? Here's an example is, you know, saying something that's sort of like, you know, I work my job just like you. I love it and can't wait to spend, you know, vacations in Italy. What about, you know, the real life that you might be doing, not like I love horseback riding on the beach, you know, have you ever done that? I've never done that. Like, I don't even know. That sounds miserable to me, actually. I mean, it looks pretty, but I don't know. So anyway, so try to be really, try to write down what it is and say, is that really you? Have you done any of those things in the last 6 months? Be selective with that information, right? Again, my biggest tip for you guys of the night, and I'll say it again, the information that should be on your profile, would you say this information shaking someone's hand and meeting them for the first time? Would you grab their hand and say these things that are on your profile? If the answer is no, then those things shouldn't be on your profile. If the answer is yes, then you've got it. And also, use what you would say to somebody for the first time as a way to guide what should be on your profile. For example, I would say, hi, I'm Elisa, and my husband's name is Paul, and we live in New York. Wonderful. That would be like the first couple of pieces of information I would have on my personal profile. But if you are a single person, then a lot of what you put on this, you know, you can even say that, hey, I'm Johnny. I love soccer and getting to know you. Yeah, it's like already these things it's more flowy, it's more natural, it's friendly, and it's inviting, and it's easy, it's approachable. And that's what ladies, the female energy likes to see in your profile. You don't have to overperform, don't have to be, you know, don't have to dance, monkey dance. Just be you, and the right woman will come along. And so the last tip too, as well, excuse me, that I'll point out for you guys is make sure to paint a pic. Don't be afraid to paint a picture, a real picture though, not a fake one, not your imaginary one that you haven't gone yet. Just be yourself, because again, this is your day-to-day life. If you're going to bring another human into your day-to-day life, he or she is going to be doing those activities with you. So if you're putting forward activities or painting pictures of things that you're not actually doing, you're only setting yourself up for some failure, for some extra work to be something you're not. So be excited about the things that you're already doing and sharing. Remember those happiness things, those 5 things that make you happy. Write those down, because those are going to be those activities that you'll be sharing with someone else, and where you should start of the different things to be looking for in someone else. So a couple things to recap. And then I want you guys heading to meetamatchmaker.com to come join our singles group, our community. It is Valentine's month. It's Single Awareness Month. It's Red Month. It's the month for you to think about how you can actually give that soul to somebody else, right? If you haven't done anything about that this year, if you're still whining and bitching about online dating and it sucks, yes, it sucks, but it doesn't have to. You can join a vetted community. You can start dating a little bit more quality, but again, only come on in here if you've got a little bit of if you can set your expectations a little bit, you know, again, kings and queens, we don't need that. Come on in. We're good. We're cool. We're real people in here, real humans, vetting other real humans. We've got virtual bouncers who are screening everybody at the door, checking IDs to make sure you are who you say you are. And if you want access to Love Pros, they're in here too. Think of it like a big love mall. And inside this love mall, we've got individual stores that are all the different cities and interests and places that you can date and and get to know people. So really, really exciting. And our love pros are the bartenders, right? They're here to help you understand how to date, who to date, where to be, really giving you literally that advice like a bartender, right? Anyway, okay, so any questions that you guys have, really, because I could get up here all day and talk about this stuff, but we want to know what you guys have to say, what questions you have for us. We're here to help you. Again, there's tons of single people wanting to meet other tons of single people. We want to connect you guys, and we can't connect you unless you speak up and say that you're here. So if you're here and you're single and you're watching this, write a question, share, join our community, come meet us at meetamatchmaker.com. Some tips for the night for you to take away. 1, be sincere on your online profile, be selective, paint a picture, and taking away from our other matchmakers of the night. Don't say what you don't want, lead with what you do want, and it will be such. I think that's all I have for you guys for tonight. Again, come join us at meetamatchmaker.com. We have our singles lounge, lots of tips, fun events, amazing things. And you can sign up and it will guide you from there. And that is all I have. I am Elisa Perifico, editor-in-chief, matchmakerreview.com. We are the Honest Date Bar at matchmakerreview.com. It's been a wonderful Valentine's week with you guys, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching. We'll take care. Bye, guys.